is at its proper level between the add and the fill line. I can see in the container and it's not leaking. Our mud flat is secure. And here's our fuse box with spare fuses inside. Okay, now I'm gonna walk to the front of the hood and close the hood. This is safe work methods. Bending at the knees, palms up. Walk around, resecure the right side hood latch. And resecure the left side hood latch. Now we're gonna enter the tractor again using 3 points of contact and perform our air brakes test. Parking brake is applied, transmission is in neutral. Close the door. First I'm going to fasten my seat belt. Unfasten, refasten. Seat belt has no cuts or frays and it's properly tensioned. My seat is properly adjusted as well. Before starting the air brakes test, I'm going to release the hand valve and turn off the work light, turn off the fog lights. I'm going to start up the engine. Depress clutch, foot cover service brake, inserting key. I'll start the engine. Okay, my oil pressure is at 40 psi. My air pressure is only at 80 psi. We're going to focus on the primary air pressure gauge for the air brakes test. But before I start, I'm going to bring it up to max air pressure. You can use the accelerator, bring your RPMs to about 1200. Okay, I have maximum air pressure. Now I'm going to place the transmission in first gear. This is going to serve as a chock so the vehicle doesn't roll. I'm going to shut off the engine, turn the key to the on position, release the clutch. I'm going to apply firm pressure to the service brake. Make sure my trailer air supply valve is pushed in, and I'm going to release the park brake. I'm going to wait for my air pressure to settle. Air pressure settled at 100 psi. Now during this time, I'm going to count 1 full minute. During this minute, I should not lose more than 4 psi for this tractor trailer combination. Okay, 1 minute has passed. Air pressure is still at 100 psi. I lost 0 air pressure, so this is a good test. Now I'm going to perform the low air warning test. Between 55 and 75 psi, the low air warning light and buzzer should activate. So I'm going to fan the brakes. Low air warning light and buzzer activated at 70 psi. This is a good test. I'm going to continue to fan the brakes, and between 45 and 20 psi, the trailer air supply valve and the parking brake valve should activate. Trailer air supply valve and parking brake valve activated at 29 psi. This is a good test. And place the transmission back in neutral, start up the engine. As the air pressure is building up, I'm going to continue my in-cab inspection. Once I have maximum air pressure again, I'll test my brakes. We have our front windshield, left window, right window, and rear window free of any cracks or chips. Our left side mirror, right side mirror, and fender mirror are all properly adjusted to my visibility. I have steering wheel, has no more than 2 inches of play to each side. Horn is adequate and reliable. Looking through the steering wheel, I make sure my left indicator, right indicator, four-way indicator, and high beam indicator are all in operating condition. They are. I'm gonna check my gauges. Volts is at 14 volts. Water temperature is at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Oil pressure is at 35 psi. RPMs are at 600. Hit the accelerator to validate that they're responsive. Miles per hour we can't check, the vehicle's not moving. Primary air pressure gauge is at 80 psi. Secondary air pressure gauge is at 80 psi and rising. Our fuel level is 3/4 full. However, we do not rely on the gauge. Make sure you physically check the tanks. I'm gonna check the windshield washers and wipers are in operating condition. Windshield washers and wipers are in operating condition and they're properly tensioned. I can tell they are because they're removing the fluid from the windshield. Now I'm going to check the heater, defroster, and air conditioning are all operational in all 4 levels. Starting with the defroster. Heater and air conditioning are all operational. You check your pouch, check your necessary paperwork and documents. Check the floor, looking for any loose items that may get caught behind the brake pedals. There's none. We have our clutch pedal, brake pedal, and fuel pedal are all properly tensioned. We raise the air pressure to get maximum air pressure. Okay, so the first test I'm going to perform is the parking brake test. I'm going to make sure that the parking brake does hold. I'm going to depress the clutch, cover the service brake, place the transmission in lowest forward gear. I'm going to release the trailer air supply. I'm going to slowly release the clutch without applying fuel to verify the parking brake holds. Once you feel that tilt, okay, parking brake held. Now I'm going to activate the trailer air supply valve, push in the parking brake valve. I'm going to do the same thing, transmission in lowest forward gear, and slowly release the clutch, applying no fuel, verify trailer brakes hold. Feel the tilt, trailer brakes held. Now I'm going to push in both the trailer air supply valve, make sure the parking brake is still in, and I'm going to test the service brakes. Within 1 full tire rotation, I'm going to use the service brakes, verify they hold. The service brakes held. Parking brake is applied, place the transmission back in neutral. And this concludes our pre-trip inspection.